All right, so better late than never. It's Monday, 9:33 p.m. local Geneva time, and I am making a modern video that I normally would have had pre-recorded in a perfect world a week in advance, in the actual real world, Sunday or early Monday, to release at 5 p.m. Central European Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm late. My wife's first day back to work in 6 months is Wednesday. My mom's visiting. My parents' family was here over the weekend. They left Saturday. It's been hectic. It's been busy. I've been incredibly stressed out with work. And I'm a little tired and I have a light headache. So definitely not ideal time to be playing Magic. And if it weren't for you guys and wanting to do my best to be committed to making modern videos at least once a day, I probably wouldn't be playing right now. However, all that being said, I do have a local modern tournament this weekend. I don't know how big it's going to be, but for my neck of the woods, it's going to be large. It'll probably be I don't know. I'm going to guess 50 to 75 players. It could be more. It could be 100. I'm not exactly sure. And I have a big decision to make. I'm going to play Jeskai Geist or I'm going to play Jeskai Flash. Both very similar decks. And I've talked a lot about them both, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. But I will say that, unfortunately, this week, I'm not going to play Just Kind of Hairy. I thought I was. That was my plan, but I'm not going to play that at the tournament. I don't have a lot of time to play Magic this week, so I'm going to have to make the most of the time that I do have. So the matches that I'm going to be playing for you guys are also going to be hopefully part of my play testing. Okay, so how do I display these in a way you can see them? So here's one option. I don't know exactly what the list would be. Oh, that reminds me. The deck is improperly labeled, but oh, that's weird. I saw the guy's name on here earlier. Jerry Donnell. I don't know if you watch the channel, but if you do, congratulations on a solid finish at an SCG Modern IQ. This list is quite similar to the one that I 5-0'd with that was posted to Channel Fireball. It even had the Crumble to Dusts, even though I said I wasn't going to play those anymore. Very similar. I can only assume that there was some inspiration. If you don't watch me, then maybe you watch Channel Fireball. But if you do, I would love to hear from you and find out how the cards in the deck performed. One thing I will say is I haven't been too big a fan of Blessed Alliance. Well, specifically in the main deck because it doesn't kill attackers, and I think that's what we need a lot in Geist. And I think a lot of the areas where we would want it, we already have pretty decent matchups. Although I've been saying that for a while now, and the meta has shifted some. So anyway, curious to hear, how things went for you. So reach out to me, Facebook or some way. Okay, so congratulations to Jerry. So back to decks. So I could play something like this. I don't know that I would. I'm really curious about Thundermaw because there's just, and it could just be, I could be being results oriented right now because I had some funny luck with him on Magic Online, but it did some really great to be able to attack for so much on turn 5 when you had a Geist on the battlefield. So I think there's still some merit to exploring keeping him in the 75. I would really love to have one in the main and one in the side, but that might be too greedy. So anyway, Jeskai Geist, you guys have seen me play it a million times. I would run something to this effect. The other option is obviously Jeskai Flash, which I think I'm going to play this deck. Now, I've talked a bit about this deck, so I don't want to bore you guys to death. I just will say, I think where some of my, I don't want to call it confidence, but, I'll just say that I probably haven't given quite enough credit to, what's the guy's name? Kyle Bogamus. He writes on GatheringMagic.com. Because I was able to piggyback off a lot of the work that he has done to come to the Jeskai list that I am playing. one of the things, I'm not collaborating with Kyle, but in some ways it feels like I'm collaborating on my end, only because I've played Jeskai so much, and when I play Geist, I'm basically one of the only people that plays it. I do confer pretty regularly with people, but still nobody's playing it to the level that I am and has been as committed. And I feel like one of the downsides to that is I feel like my thoughts get, I don't want to use the word inbred, but while I have people to bounce ideas off of, what I don't have is I just don't have somebody to talk with that I feel like is a better player than me, that devotes more time to Magic than me and has better results that I can, sort of have that validation from to say, yep, this is right, or I see what you're trying to do there, but this is wrong. And on the Jeskai Flash, I kind of have opinions, and then I get to either see if Kyle has agreed with me, not that I've suggested to him, but if he's come to the same conclusions or not. And I'll give you one example. When I first saw him post this list, actually my friend Nick mentioned it to me. It had 2 negates in the board, and my first inclination was to swap those 2 negates out for 2 logic knots. And I had looked at some of what Kyle had written and saw that he didn't do that. And so, of course, I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong about that. But I stuck to my decision because I just, felt that Logic Knot was really good. In all of my thought experiments, it's good early, it's good late. I was, in my own testing, extremely happy with it. And so it actually turns out that he ended up adopting some number of Logic Knots in his list. And so that was very much a confirmation to me that I'm not wrong about that card. And I don't get that as much on the Jeskai Geist side, because there's no pros playing Jeskai Geist. So it's nice to have that confirmation, and I think that makes me feel a little bit more sure about maybe cards that I'm selecting. And so I definitely want to give the guy props, because it's not like I just arrived at what is very close to his 75. In fact, I went back and read his articles, and the Jeskai Flash lists that, I don't know if I still have them, I don't. The Jeskai Flash lists that I built in the past, even with Spell Queller, had 3 Restoration Angels and 3 Cryptic Commands. If you look at what he had done, it's kind of interesting. He also had more Remands, because he did the same thing. He started on Remands, 3 Cryptics, and 3 Angels, and then kind of slowly whittled those down. And so the fact that, again, this kind of confirmation thing, the fact that I started there and then looked at his lists, which were there, and then just played Geist and came back and saw how he had, through his playtesting, reduced those numbers, really just, well, it saved me a bunch of time, but, I was able to piggyback on that and felt good about it, whereas it would have taken me probably some games and a little while to realize that maybe that number of Restoration Angels and Cryptics were too many. And I sometimes have trouble, like letting go of certain opinions, like thinking that the fact that Jeskai Flash can either have Cryptic Command or Restoration Angel up on 4 mana, I always thought that was one of the best things that Jeskai Flash could do, which is one of the reasons I was driven to play like 3 of each, or even 4 of each, or probably 3 and 4 of each. And I think I eventually would have come down to a similar number that I had on my Geist list, which Geist is always cycling between 4 Angels, 2 Cryptics, 3 Angels, and a Cryptic. And I never really want to go above 4 4-drops. But anyway, he just saved me a lot of time, and then I can feel pretty good about that. So anyway, that's just kind of giving props to Kyle, and just also talking about how it's nice to have some confirmation in your decisions. Okay, so a couple things. I did notice that he seems to always run 2 Glacial Fortress, and I don't remember the exact numbers. I want to say it was 13 red. So it was either 13 red sources or 14 red sources if you ran a Glacier Fortress and a Sulphur Falls, which I kind of wanted to do because there were times when I was only operating on 1 mana, which for the most part's fine, but sometimes you want to bolt, snap, bolt, and so I thought that the other Sulphur Falls gave us a little bit more red to make that a little more possible. And I even had a couple of times where I had only white sources and 2 Glacial Fortresses, and I was dying for one of them to be a Sulphur Falls. However, right now, if I decide to go ahead with this double Runed Halo plan, which I'm not sure that I will, but if I do, then I think that I really just want to maximize my white sources, because even with the Glacial Fortresses, there's technically not enough white in the deck to play Runed Halo on turn 2. Well, actually, I don't know if I counted the Serum Visions because each one counts as 0.45 of a colored source. So together they're 1.8. Let's just count it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 17, 1.8, 19 point. Is that right? So maybe that is enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 17.8. I feel like I've counted twice and gotten different numbers. Anyway, I think if I'm gonna play Ruined Halo, I'm gonna run the 2 Glacial Fortresses. Like I said, kind of tired, mild headache. I can't really decide what I want to play. I have more experience with the Geist deck, but I've been doing well, at least in my opinion, with the Flash deck. I've never really played one of those decks that is so powerful. You have like a 1900 score on Magic Online, and you're just winning all the time. I mean, I don't know that I'm good enough for that, but I definitely don't play the decks that you commonly see do that. I mean, there's a couple of people who are doing exceptionally well with Abzan midrange, so it kind of makes me think about an article I just read called like "Don't Play Bad Decks in Modern" or something. But whatever, I'm gonna play what I like. It's what I do. Okay, so some of the things I know I don't want to mess with. I really like how the matchups where Spell Queller is bad. He can come out and you can bring in the Blade Splicers, and you can become this really like grindy deck with these natural 2-for-1 creatures, and you have Ancestral Vision. And then it's nice to be able to take the Splicers out and become an all-flash deck against decks where you want to be that. So I don't want to mess with that. I've been very happy with the Logic Knots. I think I saw somewhere that he was running 3 in some latest update, but I'm not really interested in that. I kind of want to keep this negate to go along with the other negate in the board, the 2 Dispels. It could just be me liking symmetry, but I like that 2 Spell Snares, 2 Logic Knots, 2 negates, 2 Cryptic Commands, and 2 Dispels in the 75. Obviously, the Ceremonious Rejection is a counterspell, but I'm just not counting that. What I expect to see at the tournament is burn. So it could be that maybe one of these Rune Halos needs to be a 4th Lightning Helix, but then again, I mean, like, we already have pretty good interaction against burn. The Dispels are good, the Snares are good, the Negates are good. We have a bunch of removal for their creatures. Obviously, this deck doesn't have as good a matchup against burn as the Geist deck, but what I expect at the tournament is going to be burn. People are probably going to be playing Death Shadow, probably some Grixis, and definitely Bant, Eldrazi, and Eldrazi Tron. So I think this is probably better against those decks. Not against the Bant Eldrazi deck though, because they do have the World Breaker. And I guess the only deck that I would really want the 4th Lightning Helix for is burn. Like, that's probably one of the only matchups outside of just random creature matchups. That's probably one of the only ones that I can see myself bringing in the Lightning Helix out of the board. So I don't know. Maybe I don't want to do that. I mean, maybe I'm talking myself out of it. I mean, because I don't like running. I'd hate to have that 4th Helix in there and say, oh, it's for burn. I'd almost rather just have a Timely Reinforcements, because then I could technically bring it in against Jund and other mid-range matchups as well. And it's reasonable. So, I want the 2 explosives for Death Shadow. So let's see. Against Jund decks and green-black decks, those are great. The Splicers, spell decks. The thing is, Modern's just so wide open. You never really know what you're going to face, and I just want things that are versatile. And I feel like Ruined Halo is pretty versatile because it can be a 2-mana. It's basically like a Terminate against some decks, 2-mana removal spell, but it's also with some potential upside, but also can be it can have some relevance against decks playing things like Grape Shot or Lightning Storm or Valakut decks or what have you. Even you can name like Thought-Knot Seer or Reality Smasher. So Maybe I want to try just like this. I'm not 100% sure. I'm never 100% sure. I don't know how to be 100% sure in Magic, man. It's too hard. If I was going to play this, what would I do? I don't know if I really want 2 remands. I don't know how great it is. So many things that I'd rather just counter. Plus, I mean, I really want to be able to go counterspell on 2, Geist on turn 3. I don't know. I don't even know what deck I'm going to play. All right, well, it's going to be one of these two. I think it's going to be Flash. So let's just play test this guy. There could be some number of people on green, white, or Abzan Company of some sort, which kind of makes me want a Magma Spray as well, but it's not like we're totally reliant on exile effects. Let's just roll with this. I'll see you guys in a second. All right, well, I'm waiting for that. I think I might play a friendly league like this on my own. Oh, that's the wrong deck. Still waiting. Yeah, so I'd had this like this. Could probably trim one of these. It's just okay. Alright, well, anyway, enough babbling about that. Let's play Magics. Mats. I feel like I've seen this guy somewhere before. Alright, so opponents on the play, or won the die roll, assuming they're going to be on the play. Alright, I'll pause. Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah, this hand seems totally great. We got, they're on the play, and so we can lead on Scalding Tarn and have a Spell Snare up, followed by, to get a Steam Vents, followed by an untapped Glacial Fortress. Looks great. Perhaps we're playing the Mirror, or who knows what. Okay, Hollow Fountain, so it could be Storm. I mean, that's slightly unlikely. But I don't really see any reason to not lead on. I don't see a reason to cast the Serum Visions now. Okay, so it also could be Blue-White Control. Let's just do this. Could be Esper Control. Alright, so since he missed the land drop and let's get our beat down on. Could have Serum Vision that actually. Since we don't want him to hit a land drop, probably should have. Oh wow, not good for our opponent. Well, let's just flash in this Queller. And attack. Can't really do anything about that, so we'll get an island. Okay, let's play this, and so we're going to need a path and snare in the same turn. I really doubt it. So let's just Serum Visions here. Another Snapcaster Mage. I think I'm going to put this on the bottom, put this on the top. Okay, so it looks like it's Esper control. I'm fine to just play him as a flash attacker. Fatal push, sure. I wish we had kept that island on top. I'm kind of tempted to flash in Restoration Angel. Reason is, if he plays another land, then I cannot... If he could also just very easily have a Logic Knot. It might have been right to... It might have been right to just play the Restoration Angel out. Costs 4 mana. Yeah, I'm gonna do this now, because I don't have a way to fight against Cryptic Command. If he has a Logic Knot, he has a Logic Knot. But if he has a 2 mana counter, we can Spell Snare it. And if he has a Snapcaster Mage to Snapcaster Path or push, then I have a Spell Snare for the Snapcaster Mage. If he has a path, then he just has a path. Alright. Definitely get into... Let's see. So he could have path. He could have... I think I activate anyway. Alright, let's cast this. Helix is good. I don't think we need any more. Well, Helix isn't great, actually. But we do have Snap Helix, is why I'm mentioning it. Opponent's going to start either... He's going to either Rev or... Yeah, I think I just Spell Queller that. Getting Fatal pushed. Nope. The Supreme Verdict. Okay, so we know that we have a Lightning Helix on top. That being said, I think I'm just going to flash this in anyway. I was going to activate, but I just changed my mind. but I am going to end of turn fire this Helix off 100%. Alright, so I think that we Cryptic is Cryptic, and then hope that he has a 2-mana counter that we can spell snare. Okay, so against him, this is kind of curious. So I definitely want the negate, the dispel. I want the ancestral vision. I don't want the Rune Halos. I mean, I can name Colonnade, but he could also just come in with Secure the Wastes or White Sunzine that I can't name the tokens. That's one reason to consider a Static Caster, but I think if he's casting a big Secure, then we're in bad shape. Blade Splicer. Blade Splicer is interesting. I don't think the helixes are good. Let's see what we have here. Let's see. I definitely want the. We don't need all the paths. A couple are fine. And I don't really think we want all these bolts either. Although one of the interesting things about is just the burn's kind of bad. But one of the interesting things against you need some burn against something like Esper Control, because they can't just counter you can start firing off incidental burn to reduce their life total, and they can't fight over every single burn spell. But let's say just if we trimmed one or maybe even two. Let's see, what does this look like? Then we can consider I don't love Blade Splicer, but I don't necessarily hate a couple. Could do this. But if he's on the White Sun Zenith plan and this is just really bad, this is a little better. I think I'm going to try this. Depends on how many Supreme Verdicts he keeps in, because the Blade Splicers are good against the spot removal. But I think we mostly want to be a flash deck and play on his end step where possible. Yeah, it's fine. Be nice to have like a turn 1 AV or something like that, but this means we're going to hit a bunch of our land drops, which we definitely want to do. So we don't have a lot going on with the Snapcaster Mage anyway, and there is some potential that at his turn we just flash it in and then he does something and we get to play Blade Splicer. So I think I'm pretty game for that. So I was kind of questioning whether or not I wanted to like extend into something like a Supreme Verdict, but if he's going to, in this case, I think I'm just going to let this happen and then play Blade Splicer next turn. And then if he verdicts, he verdicts. But he kills one of his tokens too, so whatever. Now, normally I would... So... if he has a Supreme Verdict, he probably found the other source for it. Let's play this, and to resto or not to resto. I don't think so. I mean, we have a threat on the battlefield. We have Cryptic Command. We have a Dispel. I don't think we need to get total greed mode. Kind of annoying. Because what I want to make sure we can counter is his... Sphinx's Revelation. Yeah, I'm not going to fight over it, I guess. Take what he wants, get perfect information, unfortunately. Do I path a warrior token? Sure. This was a good draw. I kind of sort of want to cryptic this. Our opponent's already has had to discard. We're fighting over my creatures on his turn, and we still have a 2-mana counter. I think this is fine. All right. So now even if he has like 1 mana removal for these things, like all this happens, but now we're going to hit him with Colonnade, which I guess he's actually kind of fine with, because now he's just probably thinks that he's going to, like, I will hit him down to 2, and then he revelates for about 1,000. But I guess we just do it. Yeah, so this is going to be Sphinx's Revelation, and now we're just not going to win the game. Although we do get to punch again with Colonnade, which is kind of interesting. Which we will do. If he goes like Snap Revelation, that'd be gross. All right. So if he secures here, that would be not good. X5. Sure. That's a little less nice, but guess we have to fight over Gideon. Nah, we're gonna let it resolve. Not much to say. I'm just kind of going through some motions here. I mean, we're not dead. We're at 20 life. Our opponent has 1,000,000 cards, but I mean, in theory, we can just keep draw going, and as long as they're not killing us, we can... okay. So I guess our opponent can just be quite liberal with how they are utilizing their counter spells because they have so many cards in hand. Okay, let's try this again. Rune Halo isn't bad against Gideon, actually. I think it might be better than a Blade Splicer. Let's give this a whirl. Oh, wait. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't like Rune Halo against Esper Charm. God, that path did not look fantastic. So what did we do wrong there? I guess getting in that fight when we did was really only good if we thought that if we had like a bolt in hand and we knew we could win. Otherwise, it wasn't worth it. I will play first. Sure, getting the hand is fine. I wonder if I should have just... Probably should have just dispelled that Secure the Waste. Do I resolve? I think I do. And we're obviously not going to take anything. Dispel, Logic, not Sphinx's Revelation. Could have taken a picture, didn't do it. Dispel, Logic, not Sphinx's Rev. I think I just lead on... Well, I don't play Colonnade before attacks, but... And I think I don't need to exile this, but I think I do, and keep from drawing a card, and hope that he doesn't draw a Supreme Verdict. No! Oh well. Things happen. He didn't have that Supreme Verdict earlier. Logic, not Dispel. Kind of wish that we had a... So I can play the Restoration Angel now, and I think I just want to play the Spell Queller, though, with Negate back up. Well, we know the opponent has a Dispel. So if we negate this, he dispels it. Then we still have to discard 2 cards. So I think the better option here is just to so opponent has 6 cards in hand. We have 3. We're getting Esper Charmed. I'm going to discard these 2. We're not going to win this game, unfortunately. We know the opponent has a Logic Knot. They know we have no cards in hand. Things are looking pretty good for them. Jeez. 2 2-for-1s. Esper Charm and the Supreme Verdict. Looking pretty terrible. I guess there wasn't a huge reason not to animate the Colonnade there. Probably should have. No, I'm not going to. I will bounce draw and hope he doesn't have... Oh, wait. Does he still have that Dispel? Oh, he's not animating. Just Fatal Pushing. Okay. Think twice. Not looking so great. And we will attempt to counter draw. This is a battle I fully expect to lose. Cannot pay the one, sir. You got it. Okay, well, that didn't go so well. Did we get 2-0'd? No, we did go 1-2. Okay, so Esper Control made us look very not terrible, but they definitely have a better late game than us. And that's one thing this deck doesn't have that the other deck does that the Geist deck does is sort of that like, oh, you're playing Esper Control. Well, I'm probably going to beat you because I'm playing Geist of St. Traft. He can interact relatively favorably with basically every threat that we have. He has a lot more inherent card advantage in his deck, and that's pretty much what it is. That's kind of what it came down to. And, I don't think our last game was really looking too bad, though. I mean, he had like a Sphinx's Revelation, a Dispel, and a Logic Knot, and we left it all in hand and clicked him and then put a Queller into play. So, had he not drawn that Supreme Verdict and really blew us out there, I think that the game would have gone a little bit better. Hope you guys enjoyed the match, and I will see you tomorrow with another game of Jeskai Flash.